morning, Miss. My name is Zahra with name T33230096. And right now, I want to present about project part 1. Part 1, Teaching Tolerance. Definition. Teaching tolerance is the process of helping students understand, respect, and appreciate people from different backgrounds, culture, religion, races, gender, and opinions. It encourages students to treat everyone fairly and respectfully despite their differences. Why it is important? Because it can create a safe and inclusive classroom, reduce bullying and discrimination, improves communication among students, encourages teamwork and cooperation, and helps students become a responsible global citizen. Teachers' roles in teaching tolerance. Teachers have a major influence on students' attitudes. Teachers should respect every student equally, never show favoritism, encourage respectful discussion, and stop discrimination immediately, and use examples from different cultures, and teach students to appreciate diversity and become a role model of respectful behavior. And for example, uh, for the teacher, instead of saying your answer is wrong, maybe she can say that is interesting opinion. Let's discuss another perspective. And for strategies for teaching tolerance, uh, for the cooperative learning, students work together in mixed groups, and the benefit is students learn to respect different opinions. For the classroom discussion, discuss topics such as respect, equality, human rights, and for the benefit is students learn critical thinking. And for the cultural activities, for example, Culture Day, traditional food presentation, national costume exhibition, and for the benefit is students appreciate cultural diversity. Method of teaching tolerance for students is better communication, higher empathy, respect for diversity, stronger friendship, better conflict resolution, and positive classroom climate for teachers. A fewer classroom conflict, better classroom management, and more active participate. Conclusion, teaching tolerance helps students become respectful, empathic, and responsible individuals. A tolerant classroom improves both academic achievement and student social development because everyone feels accepted and valued. Topic 2. Helping students handle anger, frustration, and aggression. Understanding anger, frustration, and aggression. Anger is a natural emotional response when someone feels hurt, disappointed, or treated unfairly. And for example, the students become angry after receiving a low test score. 2. Frustration. Frustration occurs when the students cannot achieve their goals or expectations. For example, the students cannot solve a different math problem. 3. Aggression. Behavior intended to hurt another person physically or verbally. Example is hitting, pushing, shouting, threatening, insulting classmates. And for the causes, students may experience anger because of first, personal factors such as low self-esteem, emotional problems, and poor emotional regulation. And 2, family factors. Example is for lack of parental attention, domestic conflict, and financial problems. And 3, school factors. It can cause bullying, academic pressure, conflict with teachers, and peer pressure. Strategies for teachers. Here are some strategies that teachers can do is the first is to stay calm. Teachers should avoid shouting. Calm teachers help calm students. 2. Listen actively. Allow students to express their feelings. Ask questions such as what happened? How are you feeling? 3. Teach emotional regulation. Students should learn deep breathing, counting to 10, taking a break, and positive self-talk. 4. Positive reinforcement. Praise students when they control their emotion. Example is I appreciate how you stay calm. Working with parents. Teachers and parents should cooperate by sharing information, monitoring behavior of students, and creating consistent rules and supporting emotional development. Strong communication helps students improve faster. In conclusion, students cannot learn effectively when they are overwhelmed by anger or frustration. Teachers should focus on prevention, emotional support, and positive guidance rather than punishment. 3. Behavior. What is disruptive behavior? Disruptive behavior refers to action that interrupt teaching and learning. Example is talking loudly, interrupting lessons, using phones, leaving seats, distracting classmates, or ignoring instruction. Causes. One is academic factors. Lessons are too difficult and lessons are too easy. Two, personal factors. Example is attention seeking, lack of motivation. Three, environmental factors. For example, is poor classroom rules. And two, negative peer influence. Four, family factors. Example is family conflict, lack of supervision. Classroom management strategies. Two is establish clear rules. Explain classroom expectation clearly. Example is raise your hand before speaking. Two, positive reinforcement. Reward good behavior. For example, give a praise to students, give students free stickers, and last is bonus points. Three, active learning. Use games, discussion, group works, and technology. Students are less likely to misbehave when engaged. 4. Classroom monitoring. Walk around the classroom, maintain eye contact, and give immediate feedback. Effects of disruptive behavior. For students, it can cause a lower academic performance, poor relationship, and reduced concentration. For teachers, it is to increase stress and less teaching time. And for the classmate, it's difficult to concentrate and lower classroom motivation. To conclude, effective classroom management is not about controlling students through punishment, but about creating a supportive, respectful, and engaging learning environment. Teaching tolerance encourages respect and empathy, helping students handle anger and frustration promotes emotional well-being, and managing disruptive behavior ensures that all students can learn effectively. When teachers combine clear expectation, positive enforcement, and strong communication, they create a classroom where every student has the opportunity to succeed academically, socially, and emotionally. And that's all my presentation about part one. Thank you for listening, Miss. We are moving on to part two, solving the problem. Problem one, aggressive behavior by Alex. Case study. Mr. Johnson is a 50th grade teacher with more than 10 years of teaching experience. One of her students, Alex, frequently interrupts lessons, talks back to the teacher, and sometimes becomes physically aggressive toward his classmates. Although Miss Johnson has already established classroom rules, apply consequence and reward positive behavior, and talk privately with Alex, his aggressive behavior continues. Question is, what classroom management techniques can Mr. Johnson implement? Strategies number one is conduct a functional behavior assessment or FBA. Before choosing another interpretation, Mr. Johnson should identify the reason behind Alex's aggressive behavior. She should observe when does the behavior occur, what happened before the behavior, what happens after the behavior, and what does Alex gain from acting aggressively. And why is this effective? Aggressive behavior usually has a purpose, such as seeking attention, or avoiding difficult tasks, and expressing frustration and responding to emotional stress. Strategies number two is teach social and emotional learning, CEL. Alex may not know how to manage his emotions appropriately. Mr. Johnson should teach him emotional regulation skills such as deep breathing, counting to 10, using calming strategies, and asking for help politely. Expression feelings use words instead of aggression. She can also practice these skills through role-playing activities. Why is this effective? Students who learn emotional regulation are better able to control anger, reduce impulsive behavior, and solve conflict peacefully. Strategies number three is develop an individual behavior intervention plan or BIP. Because Alex's behavior is ongoing, he needs an individualized behavior plan. The plan should include expect behavior, raise hand before speaking, respect classmates, and keep hands to himself. For the reward, Mr. Johnson can praise Alex, give him stickers, extra free time, and classroom privilege. And for the consequence, time out, reflection sheet, and parents' communication. Why is this effective? A behavior intervention plan provides consistent expectation and motivates students through positive reinforcement. Strategy 4. Strengthen homeschool collaboration. Mr. Johnson should regularly communicate with Alex's parents. Communication may include weekly behavior reports, parents teaching meetings, shared behavior goals, and consistent rules at home and schools. Why is this effective? Because students improve faster when teachers and parents work together consistently. To conclude, Mr. Johnson should move beyond punishment by identifying the cause of Alex's aggression, teaching emotional regulation skills, and implementing individualized behavior plans, and working closely with Alex's family. These strategies address both the behavior and its underlying cause, creating a safer and more supportive classroom environment. Problem 2. Off-task behavior. Study case. Miss Smith teach 7th grade mathematics. Several students frequently daydream, chat with classmates, and use their mobile phone during class. Although Miss Smith has tried predicting students and preparing engaging lessons, the off-task behavior continues and disrupts learning. The question is, what strategies can Mr. Smith use? Strategies number one is to increase students' engagement. Students often lose focus when learning activities are passive. Mr. Smith can use group discussion, educational games, problem-based learning, and real-life math example, and interactive technology. Why is this effective? Because students who actively participate are less likely to become distracted. Strategy 2. Establish clear classroom expectations. Mr. Smith should clearly explain classroom rules such as must remain in bags, listen when others are speaking, and complete assignment tasks. And the last is ask permission before leaving seats. Rules should be reviewed regularly. Why is this effective? Because clear expectation reduces confusion and encourages responsible behavior. Strategy 3. Positive reinforcement. Rather than focusing only on misbehavior, Ms. Smith should recognize positive behavior. Examples include verbal prize, participation points, and reward charts, certificate, and extra privilege. Why is this effective? Because positive reinforcement motivates students to repeat appropriate behavior. Strategy 4. One is to active classroom monitoring. Mr. Smith should continuously move around the classroom instead of staying at the front. 2. He should maintain eye contact, check students' work, and provide immediate feedback. Stand near distracted students. And why this is effective? Because teacher promiscuously naturally reduce off-task behavior without interrupting the lesson. To conclude, Mr. Smith can improve student attention by making lessons more engaging, setting clear expectations, rewarding positive behavior, and active monitoring the classroom. These strategies help students remain focused and create a productive learning environment. Problem 3. Disruptive behavior. Jake. Case. Mr. Brown. Miss Brown teaches 8th grade English. One of her students, Jake, frequently talks out of turn. makes inappropriate comments, and distract other students. Previous strategies, such as verbal warnings and changing his seat, have not improved his behavior. Question: what strategies can Ms. Brown implement? Strategy 1 is to build a positive teacher-student relationship. Instead of interacting with Jake only when problem occurs, Ms. Brown should build trust by greeting him every morning, showing interest in his hobbies, and giving positive feedback. Having a short private conversation. Why is this effective? Because students are more likely to cooperate with teachers they trust and respect. Strategies 2 is to use positive behavior support. Rather than focusing on punishment, Ms. Brown should reinforce positive behavior. For example, is to praise appropriate participation, reward respectful communication, and give classroom responsible. Recognize improvement. Why is this effective? Because students repeat behavior that receive positive attention. Strategy 3. Provide consistent consequence. Ms. Brown should establish clear consequences that are fair and consistent. Example is first offense is verbal reminder. Second for the reflection activities, and third offense is parent contact. Repeat behavior. Referral to the school counselor. Why is this effective? Because consistency helps students understand expectation and develop self-discipline. Strategy 4. Increase students' participation. Jake may become disruptive because he is bored and wants attention. Miss Brown can involve him by leading group discussion, reading out loud, becoming a group leader, helping distribute learning materials. Why is this effective? Giving students responsibility encourages engagement and reduces disruptive behavior. Conclusion: Ms. Brown should combine positive relationship, positive behavior support, and consistent consequence and meaningful classroom participation to reduce Jack's disruptive behavior. These strategies focus on helping Jack develop self-control while maintaining a positive classroom atmosphere. Final concludes: in conclusion, effective classroom management is not only about controlling students' behavior, but also about understanding the reason behind it. Teachers should create a positive, respectful, and supportive learning environment by using proactive strategies such as clear expectation, positive reinforcement, and emotional support. Students' management and collaboration with parents. When this approach has applied consistently, students are more likely to improve their behavior, develop self-discipline, and achieve better academic and social outcomes. And that's my presentation about part 1 and part 2. Thank you for listening, Miss.